Hello guys, welcome back in Goku Manhwa channel. Let's continue. Inside Shu Yi's quiet room, the city lights filtered faintly through the curtains, painting slow-moving patterns on the floor. She sat on the edge of her bed, hair still damp from a quick shower, mind spinning with half-remembered fragments. Shi Yang had said something earlier that unsettled her, something about their first meeting. But if it wasn't at that dinner party, then when could it have been? Her memory offered nothing but blank spaces. She had come to Jiang City during college. It couldn't have been before that. Someone like him, with that quiet confidence and sharp gaze, wasn't someone she would just forget. The thought nagged her, a whisper refusing to fade. She stretched, grabbed her phone, and stared at her contact list. His name was gone. Deleted. A wave of regret tightened her chest. Without knowing what really happened between them, she doubted she'd be able to rest at all. She needed to hear the story from him directly, every missing detail. She typed a quick message to Xiao Yu, asking for her uncle's number. The screen glowed back as a reply came instantly. Xiao Yu was awake, amused that Shu Yi was still up this late. Shu Yi confessed that she had erased him by accident. The teasing response came fast, asking if she had been drinking again. She sighed, half laughing, half anxious. Searching, she sent the request again. It went through without warning. He hadn't noticed. Her heart beat faster as she set her phone aside. Maybe this was foolish, maybe reckless. But curiosity had already become something else, something she could no longer ignore. The notification pinged the moment she sent the message. His reply came almost instantly, as if he had been waiting. She told herself she wasn't eager, only curious. But her fingers hesitated before she typed again. She claimed to be busy, pretending her thoughts were elsewhere, though in truth her mind had been looping around a single question. What kind of person did he actually like? The idea had been haunting her for days. She leaned back against the headboard, scrolling through their old messages. Every line carried traces of playfulness, a rhythm that felt almost like a heartbeat. She tried to convince herself that Shi Yang must feel something too. Otherwise, why would he respond so quickly, so deliberately, every single time? He had once mentioned liking people who were quiet, composed, and grounded. Shu Yi thought about that for a long moment. Quiet, proper, serious. Weren't those the very traits her colleagues used to describe her at the office? Zhang Shuye, senior reporter of Financial Weekly, always precise with words and punctual with deadlines. Maybe that was why it felt easy to imagine that she fit perfectly into his preference. Or maybe she only wanted to believe that she did. Her phone buzzed again. He had sent a few old screenshots from their chats, snippets that made her heart twist unexpectedly. A small smile crossed her lips as she read his playful remarks about how even songs about rain and sunlight were dull compared to their conversations. It was simple, almost childish, yet it warmed her. When he asked if she liked drinking water, she laughed softly at the randomness of it all. Maybe the connection was trivial, but at that moment, it felt like something rare, something quietly real. Shu Yi stared at her screen, her fingers hovering above the keyboard as messages appeared one after another. The conversation had taken a turn she didn't quite expect, half teasing, half sweet in a way that made her heart thud against her ribs. Every word seemed to pull her in deeper. It was ridiculous, yet impossible not to smile. He had this way of making simple lines sound like something else entirely, something that stirred a warmth she didn't want to admit. She laughed to herself, the sound echoing softly in her quiet room. The thought slipped into her mind before she could stop it. Maybe he already liked her more than he realized. Maybe she was reading too much into everything, but that didn't stop the thought from lingering. The seconds between his replies felt heavier, filled with a strange anticipation. Another message came through, filled with shameless wordplay that made her roll her eyes and blush at the same time. He turned the smallest phrases into something that made her pulse skip. It wasn't poetry, but it felt like it. She wanted to tell him to stop, yet secretly waited for the next one to appear. The teasing kept coming, one after another, until she finally buried her face in her pillow. If anyone had seen her then, smiling, flustered, trying not to giggle, they'd think she'd lost her mind. She typed a warning to stop, but he didn't. It was maddening and addictive all at once. When silence finally fell, she realized she missed the notifications already. Shi Yang leaned back in his chair, a quiet smile playing on his face as he read through Shu Yi's latest messages. Her replies were short, proper, and perfectly composed, yet he could almost hear the nervous excitement beneath them. She was always so careful with words, so controlled in tone, and that made her moments of warmth feel even more vivid. He found it strangely endearing. The quiet, serious girl who used to hide behind polite professionalism was now taking the bold step of inviting him out. Shu Yi stared at the screen, her heart racing as she typed and erased the same message twice. It wasn't easy for her to say such things, but she did it anyway, crafting her invitation like a journalist writing her most daring headline. When she finally hit send, she regretted it immediately, tossing her phone aside as if it had betrayed her. The seconds that followed felt endless. Then the notification buzzed again. Shi Yang's reply was light, teasing, and confident, making her groan into her pillow. She tried to act indifferent, pretending she was about to sleep, but the faint smile tugging at her lips gave her away. Hours later, she replayed their conversation in her mind. His final message lingered, simple yet impossible to ignore. Saturday. It sounded ordinary, yet it pulsed with quiet promise. She imagined the weekend air, the soft glow of the city lights, the unspoken anticipation between them. Far away, Shi Yang closed his phone, still smiling. For both of them, Saturday suddenly felt like the beginning of something they didn't have words for yet.